The kiss lasted less than a second, but it was long enough to stop her heart from failing, and long enough to change his life forever. The janitor's trembling hand pressed against the cold marble floor as alarms echoed through the billionaire's glass tower, and in that frozen moment, no one watching would ever guess that this desperate act of instinct would bind two broken lives together in ways neither of them could escape. He had never planned to be a hero. Adam Reyes was 34, a single father with permanent fatigue in his bones and quiet hope he hid for his 8-year-old daughter, Lily. Every night, after walking her to their tiny apartment bed and promising that tomorrow would be better, he took the late shift cleaning the towering headquarters of Kessler Dynamics. He wore a faded uniform, kept his head down, and stayed invisible, because invisible people didn't get fired, and fired people didn't feed their children. That night was supposed to be like any other. Empty offices. Humming lights. The soft squeak of his mop. Until he heard the sound that didn't belong, a sharp gasp, followed by the dull crash of a chair hitting the floor. Adam followed the noise to the executive wing, a place he was never supposed to enter, and found Eleanor Kessler, the billionaire CEO herself, collapsed beside her desk. Her skin was pale, her breathing shallow, her lips turning faintly blue. Adam froze. Panic roared in his ears. He was a janitor, not a doctor. His phone slipped from his shaking fingers as he dialed emergency services, but the dispatcher's calm voice turned urgent when Adam described Eleanor's condition. Severe allergic reaction. Airway closing. No epinephrine nearby, she's not breathing properly, Adam whispered, fear cracking his voice. You may need to provide rescue breaths, the dispatcher said. If her airway closes, you must act immediately. Seconds stretched like hours. Eleanor's chest stuttered, then stopped moving altogether. Adam knelt beside her, heart pounding so hard it hurt. He thought of Lily. Of the nights she asked why he was always tired. Of the promise he made to never leave her alone in the world. I'm sorry, he whispered, not to Eleanor, but to fate itself. He tilted her head back and pressed his lips to hers, breathing life into a woman who had everything he didn't: power, money, control, yet in that moment, she had none. Just breath. Just life. Just him. When Eleanor finally gasped, coughing violently as air rushed back into her lungs, Adam collapsed backward, tears spilling freely. He didn't notice security rushing in. He didn't hear the shouts. All he could think was that she was alive, and that he had crossed a line no invisible man ever crossed. Adam expected to be fired. Arrested. Disappeared. Instead, 3 days later, he was summoned to the top floor. Eleanor Kessler sat upright behind her desk, very much alive, her sharp eyes softer than the headlines made them seem. She thanked him, quietly, sincerely, and asked him questions no one ever had before. About Lily. About working nights. About what it meant to live one emergency away from losing everything. When Adam left that office, he was no longer just a janitor. His job remained the same, but something else had shifted. Eleanor began to notice him. Not as charity. Not as guilt. But as a man whose courage came from love, not ambition. Yet change never comes without resistance. Whispers spread. Rumors twisted the truth. People said Adam had staged the incident. Others said Eleanor was being manipulated. Adam felt the walls closing in again, fear threatening the fragile stability he'd built for his daughter. When Lily asked why strangers were suddenly watching them, Adam realized that saving a life had put theirs at risk. Eleanor faced her own battle. The board wanted Adam gone. The story erased. But the woman who had nearly died understood something she hadn't before. Success meant nothing if it cost your humanity. And then came the night everything nearly fell apart again. A scandal exploded online, fueled by half-truths and cruel assumptions. Adam stood ready to quit, to disappear for Lily's sake. He walked into Eleanor's office to say goodbye, expecting distance. Instead, she stood beside him publicly. Firmly. Fearlessly, she told the world the truth, that a man with nothing but courage had saved her life, and that kindness did not need a title to be real. The backlash faded. The lies collapsed. And Adam learned that dignity could be louder than doubt. Months passed. Adam didn't become rich overnight. He didn't stop being a father first. But doors opened, training, education, opportunity, earned, not handed. Lily slept easier. Adam stood taller, and Eleanor, changed by a moment when breath was borrowed from a stranger, built a company culture that valued people over profit, all because of a kiss that wasn't about romance, power, or fate, but about choosing to act when walking away would have been easier. The world didn't change in one night, but 2 lives did, and sometimes, that's enough to change everything.